how customers and employees responded have changed a little bit over time, but they've been influenced by how I've tried to live these EOC values. There are a couple of ways you can do that. You can be overt about it. You can try to market it as something good you do. We're part of the economy of communion. Use us, aren't we great? And you can tell the employees that, and you can make a big deal out of it. And I remember early on, for many years, I focused on trying to live it versus just speak about it, because I felt like if it's going to be authentic, they're going to see it in my own life and adopt it, rather than the boss saying, you should be operating like this because the boss is telling you. At least that was my view at that time. I don't necessarily view that all the way it is today, and so what happened for clients, that meant trying to do their work in a way that's very human, and that you build relationships with the clients, and that you try to go overboard, actually try to perform excessively well because you want to for them, not because it will bring you advantage. And so I remember one time doing an extraordinary amount of work for a client. I mean, just incredible, the demands. He knew the demands were hard, and yet I did that. I didn't complain. And when we finished with that piece, he said, I want to go out to lunch with you. And I go, oh, yeah, that'd be great to go out to lunch. He goes, I want to spend the lunch understanding why you operate the way you do. I feel like there's something else going on that I don't know about, but it's different, and I want to figure this out. It first of all, it's exceptional, but it's something I haven't experienced before. So ultimately, for that particular client, I went out to lunch. I told him as much as he wanted to know, and sometimes people want to know very little. Others want to just keep asking questions until they figure it out. That's just who they are. So that's one particular moment with a particular client that I recall. The same with the first few of my employees, too, the senior guys that worked with me. I had worked with them before in another company, and eventually we rejoined forces, so to speak. And they'd heard about, I was trying to do this thing called the economy of communion, but we didn't spend a lot of time at that time. We were more focused. There was a small group of people that were more focused on doing the work, getting it out. But I think they began to see how I was doing things. I don't know if it was the way I was treating clients or extra care or something different. And I remember we were all invited to go to a conference to talk about the work we were doing. And we got to this conference, and after the conference that night at dinner, they said, okay, we're here away from the office. We don't have anything else going on. We have to know more about this economy of communion. There's something else that you're not telling us, and we can feel it, and I think we want to join in, but we haven't taken the time to kind of download. So that was it. It was like a confrontation. It wasn't confrontation, but it was like, okay, quit hiding. I know you're kind. I know you don't want to, burden us, but give it to us, full blown, just whatever it is. And so that freed me up to just explain everything. And when it was over, they said, okay, this explains a lot of things. And they became, senior people who had that same kind of vision for when they were with the company for a long time. And so those are two, and I can't give you like, I did some saintly thing or, some big magical story, but it was just the day-to-day how we were operating that it became apparent. And then, as the company grew, it became necessary in this EOC process to begin speaking about it, because I wasn't seeing everybody every day. They weren't like me. Those first few saw me every day, every decision. When it got bigger, some of the employees may not see me only a couple times a week because they were busy doing their own thing. And so to transfer the values and the meaning, you have to be more explicit if you really want to make sure it's captured, if you will. And so we started having monthly meetings where we talk about one particular aspect, ethical behavior, or internal relationships. So we began more officially doing that. And then now, after all these years, we built it such that people, when they come on board, they understand. There's a little bit of, here's what we do, here's how we value the community, here's what's important. You'll never get criticized for doing this, and this beyond what we normally operate. So it's much better than what it was. But early on, I didn't know what the EOC was completely either, right? It was this, we're going to find this out. All these businesses around the world are going to find this out by just day-to-day working. And of course, we can share more at some point, but we also learned between businesses how we each other handle things, and that informed how we transitioned over time.